What up, guys? So now we're moving on to the next member of the Diverse Society. We got Glen here now.
What's up?
So let's just keep this train rolling with these interviews because why not? And without further ado, let's get right into it. What would you say is your favorite video on the channel?
Favorite video, if I'm not mistaken, I laughed really hard seeing Ruben's impression of Nikocado Avocado.
It's your fault. It's your fault.
What do you mean? You dropped the damn thing!
That was like probably the funniest I've ever seen him ever. It was the funniest thing. Even my mom has seen watching that. It was hilarious to her.
What would you say is your favorite moment with the group?
Favorite moments behind the scenes of making the art that draws blood, because I'm a big horror movie fan, so I thought it was really fun to try and make one. Didn't turn out how I thought it would, but it was still a fun experience. And then there was that one moment in front of Montana's house while I was recording. It was hilarious.
Is there a least favorite moment in the group? Or at least whenever we did something?
Least favorite moments? That is a good question.
It can also pertain to like videos.
In general, I know, and I really can't think of one. Yeah, I can't really think of everything at the moment either, so it's kind of hard to fully remember everything that we've done.
Maybe the whole wedding thing where you were basically just having to...
Okay, that I wouldn't say like the least favorite moment, it's just a regrettable moment. That was a stupid idea that I remembered I wanted to do to someone I didn't like, and I said, screw it, why not just do it just because I can in a different game. So yeah.
What was your favorite game to play when recording videos for the Diverse Society?
As far as for the Diverse Society, I would have said between, at the time, Overwatch or Marvel Rivals. But even like before recording everything, I would have said probably Rocket League, because we also did a lot of funny stuff back then as well.
That's diving deep right there. That's a old one.
Yeah. I was thinking Minecraft, but like we don't really do much of anything like amazingly funny in Minecraft. We just do like the random basic stuff like build a house, survive.
There's not really
the
much to do.
The most funniest thing we've ever done in Minecraft as a recent times was just reacting to an add-on I bought.
And I might make that into a video soon, so we'll find that soon enough.
Stay tuned.
Do you happen to have a favorite film of the Diverse Society?
I want to say...
From Torn Apocalypse to Patience is a Crime.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Patience is a Crime, probably the funniest one. Dude, I could just constantly think of that scenario being super funny. Like someone trying to rob a bank or just like a museum, and the guard is just constantly sitting in one spot, oblivious that there's a person right behind him trying to rob the place.
And the dude is just like so impatient that he's just like, come on.
You move already! It is hilarious.
And if you have any questions for me, you also can feel free to ask about that.
Are we ever gonna talk about that one idea I think Landon had, the detective film?
That is a work in progress to the f***ing max right now.
I like the concept, because whenever I think of detective films, I think like the old-timey like 1920s black and white films.
That's basically the direction it's going on. I just need to, well, or at least one of us has to make a story to go off of so we can make it into a film.
I can probably think of some stuff because I've seen a lot of movies like that, mainly like A Bronx Tale or there's like an Al Capone movie I once saw.
The only problem is we have to make sure that everything around us is as less modern as possible if we were to make a film like that, so...
Then we cannot really go much of any places because modern technology and everything is around us already, so...
Are there any projects you are looking forward to?
Okay, I want to address this issue from the previous interview about Pete's. Thank you for bringing that up last time, Ruben. It's a project I am working on, and it's taking a bit of time because it took some time to get it done properly. The previous version of it did not turn out well, and since it's in Minecraft, I have to look for, workarounds to try and mimic Five Nights at Freddy's without having to like try and like rebuild everything over and over and over. So I have to like buy add-ons or like move certain structures, that type of thing. I've spent like a good, I want to say like $10 on just this alone for Minecraft. I'm not no setup. It's just writing the script to match the person that's talking for the role. You can't have like the most emo person ever saying, "Oh, hi, how are you?" It doesn't seem right to me. Because then they'd be like, "Hi, how are you? Welcome to Pete's. What can I do for you?" Who's gonna want to watch that?
I mean, we're in a much, like I said in the previous interview, we're in a much better spot than we were previously. It's just getting stuff filmed, and I mean, I can't necessarily blame you for all the delays because stuff happens, man. It's not gonna.
A lot of stuff happened, and at the same time, my basis of it was from another YouTube video that I've watched a while ago. That stuff kept getting updated. I was like, okay, so they're just adding more stuff. Maybe I should keep on adding stuff so that way it's not just a flop from the beginning. Like, for instance, you're not going to want to see someone sitting on a staircase in Minecraft when you can actually have a chair.
Yep. And that was basically what the old world was basically no add-ons, and then...
The biggest problem was security cameras, or working around how the security guard is going to be securing the building.
Because we had the original one filmed, but it was just...
Terrible. It was just bad. It was just bad.
The reason why we just stopped the production of it was because the main problem was matching the audio with the characters moving, because we did that separately.
That and availability.
That too. But now we're in an area where we know how to do it properly. We learn from our mistakes, and we should be able to have a much better result with Pete's, despite the fact that it took, like what Ruben said, 2 years for it to be somewhat created.
Well, I mean, I won't say 2 years, because it just stopped at one, but we just, like, gave up on it, and we just resumed, like, beginning of this year, like, late last year.
It's just been on and off. It's just been on and off. Well, that's the entire point.
But to address your concerns, Ruben, I'm progressing. Thank you very much.
Is there a certain genre of a film that you personally would like to see us tackle next time?
I would love to see us attempt doing analog horror. That's like my favorite type of horror, other than like old school black and white horror films. Analog is like one of the top tier like scary type films for me. Don't really know what we can do with it or how we can approach it, but I would have loved to at least attempt to do it.
That could be something in the future, but we just need to make sure that we have ideas rolling. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about this question. What was your first impression with everybody?
Okay, I'm gonna go in order of how I remember meeting them. And I remember meeting Montana, who was a very different person at the time, in middle school. I had just moved to Gardena. I moved to Torrance. And I just moved to Magruder Middle School, and I was really, really terrible at math. And luckily, I sat someone who was smart, Montana. He had like almost all A's in math, so I just said, "Could you help me out with some stuff?" And we just continued to talk after that, back and forth, became friends, had a little group there, lasted all the way till now. I remember meeting Tom in high school through English class, and this is the stupidest reason in my opinion, but the only reason we ended up talking is because one, he sat next to me, and two, he always brought brownies to potlucks. That was like his signature thing, is that he always, and I think he made them by hand too, that he always brought brownies. I remember meeting you, talking to you the first time was like via a lap in PE class, but we started talking because I saw you talking to Montana. I'm like, okay, I know Montana, maybe Montana's making new friends, why don't I just jump in there, make some new friends? I only knew like 3 people at the time in high school.
I only know Ruben at the time.
Yeah. You were cool. You knew Mortal Kombat stuff. You knew Marvel stuff. I was like, alright, I know these things as well. Get along. Ruben, though, was different because he reminded me of something that I've forgotten for a very long time. It was a really old FNAF video I saw where Foxy was like really pissed at Bonnie because Bonnie pronounced the word for Fawa. And I was like, I forgot that exists. And as I'm like in introduction to media class, I could just hear it like 3 rows back behind me, just Fawa. I'm like, what the hell? Turn around and we just lock eyes. And I bring it up to like the end of class, and we just kept on talking after that and became friends. He knew you knew Montana, so.
It's all about knowing each other and then just...
Yeah. Landon was a bit different though. I know he was talking to Montana, but I didn't talk to him until we both bumped into each other walking to our separate 6th period classes. Mine was in an art class, his was in wrestling. They were just so happened to be in the back of the school. And we just kept on seeing each other like, hey, aren't you in my PE class? What's up? And we just bonded via horror, action, comedy, that type stuff. Jordan, this is the stupidest thing ever. I remember I was getting driven to your house for, it was either a Halloween party or a birthday party. It was some kind of party at your house. I walked into the door and I was like, okay, where is everybody? I just see Jordan in the front of the living room just I think he was playing like Mario Party or like Smash Bros in the living room.
Some Nintendo game.
Yeah, it was something on the Switch. And he just like nodded his head at me, like I nodded back, and I just put my bag down and went to the kitchen. As we just over the years, just kept seeing him at their parties, and like, okay, he's cool. Just hang, I guess. Surprisingly enough, we have like a good amount of things in common, other than just both being black. We bonded surprisingly quickly. Surprisingly. As far as Lulu, it was weird for me at first. It's kind of really hard to explain. But the way it seemed was very off-putting because I didn't know that you knew her from you. I think I was told by Ruben first, saying like, oh, we might end up getting a girl in the group. I'm like, oh, really? How? And then he just says, oh, Mateo met somebody. I'm like, okay, where's the context behind this? He was just on Twitch, and that's all I know. I'm like, okay, then how am I supposed to react to all this information that has like little to no background at all? So then I just waited for you to join the call later that day, and then he brought it up. I'm like, oh yeah, please inform me more of what he's talking about. You told me more. I'm like, okay, I kind of understand. As far as talking to her myself, she fits the criteria of the group as far as craziness goes. Everyone here's a psycho. She's... yeah. Everybody has a little craziness to them. She just has some too, so she fit perfectly.
Yeah, and on top of that, it was just a lot of peer pressure from her. Just like, I want to be in the group, 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 I want to be in the group. Just like, okay, I get it.
Well, that's a you problem. If it was me, I don't give a...
What was the weirdest thing that you've experienced with this group?
There was this one time, I think it was a sleepover we had at your house in your old room. I think this is the same exact time. Ruben slept inside of a closet. Like,
yeah. Just
full on, just laid down and just like... And I was like, okay, so you don't want to like go downstairs on the couch that has cushions? No, I'm fine. I'm in the closet. That, and there was that, I think the exact same night later on, I'm up in the middle of the night watching Hulu on my phone, and I had to use the bathroom. I'm on top of the top bunk in this room. I look down, because I need to go use the bathroom, and I see Montana turn his head and lock eyes with me as I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, I'm just up. I was like, so am I. I'm going to the bathroom. What are you doing? He's like, nothing. I'm like, okay. There's another one from Montana that I just remembered. I wasn't here, but I remember there was a time where he was coming over to your house and you didn't know he got in. He was in your room already just waiting for you. I'm like, this is not your house. How are you waiting for him in his house? How did you get in?
This was back then where like he was so extroverted that basically even with like people that he only met for like a couple of months, he already got super comfortable just being in their environment.
Beware, Lulu, if you're watching this later on. Beware.
I think that about wraps up this interview. Thank you for sticking to be in the interview with me.
No problem.
And we'll see who's going to be the next one. Could be literally anybody. But other than that, I'm Mateo.
I'm Glen. Oh, and before we go, Corona Apocalypse is how you pronounce it.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Later.